Hey guys, I'm Evan. Welcome to Country View Acres. So today we're going to be installing this heat pump in the workshop here. So this is a Mr. Cool DIY heat pump. And the way this is designed and engineered is that you can install everything yourself. You don't have to have an HVAC professional to be able to pull vacuum on the system and to charge it with refrigerant. The refrigerant is already inside, and the way everything's designed is it's already all sealed up and ready to go. So you can install this all yourself. And this is the outside unit here. It's going to go on the wall brackets we just mounted, which are just below this window here. And then there's an inside unit as well. And it's actually going to go on the center of the wall here above the pegboard. And then we're going to be able to heat and cool the workshop with this unit. And we'll be able to keep a nice constant temperature in here year-round. So it's always been my plan to install a heat pump here in the workshop. I've always wanted to do one of these DIY units, and three of the guys I work with, they've already installed these Mr. Cool units and they love them. So I knew this was exactly the route I wanted to go. So a couple months ago I reached out to Mr. Cool. I contacted them and they were nice enough to provide this system for us to be able to install in the workshop. So I just want to give a big shout out to Mr. Cool, a big thank you for providing this for us. But let's go ahead and start getting it installed. I'm going to try to transfer this over to the mounting brackets. This side over here is definitely the heavy side. So you could install this unit on the ground on an air conditioner pad, and this would go a lot quicker. I've complicated things by putting it on wall brackets, and my initial thought was if I can get it up off the ground, then maybe Rebecca can mow through here and not accidentally hit it with the lawnmower deck because it sticks out fairly far. And she's actually hit our air conditioner on the house a couple times with the lawnmower and pushed the whole air conditioner unit. So that's the reason why I went this direction. But then I didn't even think about the wall. The wall with this corrugated metal on here is not flat, and this should be mounted on a flat surface. So I had to end up putting some wood spacers behind all of the bolts, so that when it bolted on, it was basically on a flat surface. And I think I've got everything exactly where I want it. I've got 6 inches of space between here and the bracket, and I think we can go ahead and tighten it down, move on to the next step. So the heat pump came with this template to be able to help you mount the inside unit. Now, when I was building this wall, I put extra studs in here to line up with this bracket using this template. And I'm just going to get this situated exactly where I want it. Just going to tape it up here for now to hold it in place. I'm going to go ahead and just use a punch to kind of transfer exactly where I want to put my screws. All right, I've got the mounting bracket all level, so I'm going to go ahead and put an additional probably 8 screws in here and make sure it's secure. So between the inside unit and the outside unit, there is a set of refrigerant lines that we're going to run. Plus there's some power wiring and some control wiring, and that's got to pass through this wall to the inside. So we've got to drill a hole in the wall for that to get to the inside unit. Now on this template that they provided, that hole is marked out right here. I've already marked it up on the wall. I'm going to use a 3.5 inch hole saw, and we've got to drill all the way through this wall to the outside. So this wall is probably 9 inches thick, so I've got I think it's about a 12-inch long drill bit. I'm gonna see if I can get it all the way through to the other side. Well, at least that gives me somewhere on the other side to know where to drill. See how hollow this wall is? Pretty far. I'm gonna have to get a razor blade. That foam's thicker than the saw. All right, there we go. Got a hole through the wall. All right, this is a protective sleeve that goes through this hole to the outside. Oh yeah. It actually doesn't even make it all the way through. That's how deep my wall is. It's too deep. So normally this wall sleeve would stick out and you would cut it off flush, but my wall is so thick that it actually doesn't stick out. So what I've done is I've put silicone on the back of this to get it to attach, since that wall sleeve doesn't reach out. And normally this would insert in that wall sleeve, but I'm just going to adhere it on here with some silicone. That should work. Should seal it up too, waterproof it. So this is the indoor unit, and on the back of it are the refrigerant lines, and we just got to straighten these out. Basically, we're trying to just get these to where they'll go through the wall, straight through the wall. So this is going to be a two-person job for sure, trying to get this on the wall. Luckily, it's not as heavy as the outside unit, but Rebecca's going to feed the wire through and then help feed the refrigerant lines through the hole in the wall. Got it? And I'm going to twist it, and then those lines right there have to feed through, and you see underneath there, you see that little plastic line under there? They're all taped together. That has to go through next. Okay? Okay. What are we missing here? That wire's got to go in. Oh, was that it? Thank you. All right, so here's our tubes sticking out the outside. So now we just got to gently bend these without kinking them. You gotta, just gently bend these so that they go down the wall toward the condensing unit. So this here is the set of refrigerant lines that will connect the two units together. And I need to straighten this out, or at least about 7 feet of it out. Just gonna use the concrete to do that. Something like that. Definitely has plenty of extra line on here if you wanted to run that, I guess, pretty far away. I'm gonna go ahead and connect up the line set. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a double O-ring in there on these connections. And that's what's gonna allow us to be able to connect this up while still keeping it sealed up while we do it. So we got all this extra refrigerant line here at the bottom. We're just going to leave it coiled up, and then we're going to bend the tubing that we need. We're going to bend it real carefully so that it comes around here to the air conditioner unit here, the condensing unit. And you want this to pretty much line up as best as it can before you start threading it. That way it doesn't have too much force on the connector. Go ahead and take these caps off. So inside of here is like the valve to turn on the gas. So we're just gonna unscrew that. You can hear it, the gas going into the system. The refrigerant, I should say. Make sure they're backed out completely. So now all we gotta do is use some soapy water on all the connections and make sure there's not a leak. If there was leaks, you'd see bubbles starting to form. We'll go ahead and make our electrical connections. So this is the cable from inside, and these are labeled 1, 2, and 3 on the end of the wires. So this here is our electrical disconnect. I actually put this on a couple months ago. So we're just going to run a piece of flexible conduit from here over to the unit, and then we'll pull wire through there to get it wired up. Well, you can probably tell I'm running out of daylight here. It's almost completely dark. Just trying to get this wired up. So I was able to get this hooked up electrically the other night. I turned on the breaker, I tested the unit, and then I came out here and did another leak test with soapy water while the unit was running, just to verify we still didn't have any leaks. And then I've wrapped the refrigerant lines according to the instructions. You can see that they're all wrapped. There's some insulation in there and some sound deadening material. And this is the way the unit would look, the way it just comes standard. It would end up looking like this. This would be pretty much your finished product. Now, if you want to dress this up a little bit more, they have a line guard set, and it's some PVC that goes around these lines and kind of dresses it up a little bit. Now, I do have one here. We're going to go ahead and put it on and see how it looks. All right, so now that we got the back attached to the wall, we can go ahead and start putting the covers on. We'll go ahead and put a little bit of clear silicone around this just to make sure no water gets inside where that wall opening is. Just a little added insurance. All right, I got the line guard cover installed, and that does dress it up. It looks a lot better out here. So the outside installation is complete. Depending on how far away your units are from each other, you are going to have some extra refrigerant line that you have to coil up here at the bottom. Now I've kind of zip tied some of that together to try to keep it nice and neat. I've got it zip tied to the mounting bracket on the wall to help hold the weight up a little bit and keep them off the connections down here. We don't want any extra stress on those connections. But everything out here is done. So let's go ahead. We're going to head inside. Yesterday I spent all day long closing in the workshop, getting it all closed in so it'll hold heat. So we'll go in there, I'll show you what we've done, and we'll give a good test to the new heat pump. Well, you can see they finally came this week and installed our garage door. I've been waiting, I think, 5 weeks for them to come and put this in. And this was the biggest thing that needed to be done. We needed to close up this 10 by 12 opening so that we could hold some heat in here. So they got that done, I think, about 5 days ago. So then after that, there's only just a few small spots that needed to be insulated, a few other little things to get this closed in. So on this south wall, I had some insulation that I needed to finish in the walls. I've got the attic opening. I've put some polystyrene board in there. And then I ended up hanging this door. Still need a doorknob on it, but this wall is completely sealed up now and we're ready to heat this space. Well, it's 61.7 degrees in here. Let's go ahead and test out the new heat pump. So right here is the remote for it. Turn it on. And I need to change the mode to heat. There we go. And then for the test, it says to turn it up all the way and heat it up. All right, it's been about 2 or 3 minutes now, and it is putting out 110 degree heat. And I believe it's still going up. So I think that looks pretty good. It looks like it's gonna heat this place up. Now we just gotta see how long it takes. So it's been 20 minutes now, and well, there we hit it, 70 degrees. So we went from 62 to 70 in 20 minutes. Seems to be working. All right, to test the cool, we're gonna go ahead and turn it down to the lowest, which is 62 degrees. We'll see how this does. All right, it's been running for about 3 minutes, and we've got 40 degree air coming out of here, nice and cool. So it looks like the Mr. Cool heat pump is gonna do good. It looks like it's gonna heat and cool the shop. Now, my biggest reason for doing this is not for my comfort. It is to actually help protect my tools. This should mean the end of my tools rusting if we can keep a constant temperature in here. So I've had tools rust in this new pole barn. Some of the newer tools that I've got have rusted in this workshop just from the temperature swings. So when it gets really cold and then it gets hot again, anything that's steel or cast iron will get condensation on it, just like a cold glass or a cold drink, right? And if you look at this, this is the joiner that I inherited from my grandfather, and look at all this surface rust. This is from condensation. This didn't get rained on or anything like that. That is just from the condensation with the temperature swings, and the humidity has caused water to form on here and rust it. So here's the milling machine I bought like a year or so ago, and there is rust. You can see something was sitting here and it rusted around it. I just bought this vise this summer and it has rusted as well on the sides, and that all has to do with the temperature swings we were having out here in the pole barn. So where I live here in Southern Illinois, it is very humid, pretty much year round. It's like in the summertime, I think it's about 85% on average humidity, very humid area. So the number one reason for me to put a heat pump in the workshop is just to protect my tools. You get a lot of money invested in these tools and you hate to see them get ruined by getting all rusty. Plus I've got more tools that I eventually want to put in here or replace some of my older ones, and you don't want those brand new tools to get ruined. So I want to be able to protect my investment, and I think the heat pump is one of the best things to do around here in this humid, because it's such a humid area here. Well guys, I think that's going to be it for today's video. We finally got the workshop closed in. It's all sealed up. We can hold heat this year. Last year I could not really hold heat in here at all. The highest I could get it was about 58 degrees in here, and I had to use a kerosene heater to get it up that hot. So definitely going to be a nice space to work in this winter. The Mr. Cool, of course, that's going to keep it nice year round, hot and cold. It'll do both. And that was fairly easy to do. I think most people that are do-it-yourselfers will be able to do all that, except maybe the electrical. You might have to hire that out. But the instructions were really good. I think there's about 30 pages, very detailed instructions to getting this installed. So the instructions are good. Seems to be very user-friendly. But I think you're going to need 2 people, definitely for the inside unit, and probably needed 2 people for the outside unit. But you can get it done in a day if you want to. And definitely for a workshop or garage, this is the way to go. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. I'm glad to finally have the workshop ready for winter, and this is going to be a nice space to do our work in. So that's it, guys. So I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.